Hello in cryptocurrency land. Alan, you are first, my friend. How you guys doing today? Another bear flag broken down. Yeah, if you guys remember yesterday in the power hour, we talked about this box of resistance right here. And it didn't get much farther than that box, that 8,400 level, pretty much proving to be resistance. So there you go. There. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. All right, so welcome to the Power Hour, about your trading, current market action, possible live trades, pretty much whatever it takes to make you guys successful. That's pretty much what the Power Hour is all about. All TAs talking about 4K now. Well, Razor, they should have been watching my videos about 3 months ago. They'd feel as smart as I do right now. Right? So now you're thinking of selling BTC. Okay, CryptoCon. Yeah, definitely. Everyone that's been asking me over the past, since we've been doing this power hour about the past six or so days, people have been asking, I got in Bitcoin at 11K, I got in Bitcoin something, what should I do? I've always been advised to selling if you don't think you're going to hold for the longer term, because there's really no major impetus for an upside market movement. There's no technical reason for the market to go up. Everything points to the market going down, and the people that haven't been watching those signals have been getting people in, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? Buying the dip doesn't always work. Buying the dip does not always work. All right, guys, so a couple more of you joining here to the Power Hour, talking about real live action trades you guys are involved in, thinking about getting involved in. We're talking about strategies, stop losses, profit-taking areas, things of that nature. The more specific the questions, the better. We're looking at setups. If you're going to ask a question, give a coin with the pairing, preferably the exchange too. Sometimes that can vary. The trade you're looking at, the setup that you're looking at, if you have a stop loss in mind, if you have a profit taking in mind. So there you go. That's what we're looking for in the power hour. So I got in a bear trap yesterday. So a bear trap, there's not many bear traps in here. A bear trap is when the market goes down, and then, so like this could be considered a bear trap. We're in a downtrend, we go lower, then we reverse higher. This could be considered a bear trap. This may be considered a bull trap. Okay, this would be considered a bull trap because you're a bull buying this breakout. And like we pointed out yesterday, we talked about this box of resistance up here. And I think I drew this even before this spike to the upside. I think we were live yesterday when the spike to the upside occurred. So maybe a little bit afterwards. But yeah, we're pretty much lining up these points with this bottom area here, kind of an area of resistance. And we dropped right down out of that area. Dent BTC on KuCoin, wondering if I should get in. It's less than 1 cent. Well, first things first, Chris, never let the price of anything fool you into getting in. That being said, inexpensive coins can lead to massive gains, basically due to the fact that they're so cheap. A lot of people may view that with the same spectrum as you are. Let's take a look at that. Dent coin. Well, that's Bitcoin. They're pairing it against Bitcoin Cash now, huh? All right, so like I said, just because a coin is cheap, I don't see a dollar value here. I'm assuming you're looking at coin market cap for that. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, you got that on coin market cap. No one's actually trading it against the dollar, it looks like. Oh, there's one on OK. But most of it's on CoinRail, whatever that is. That's a new one to me. And then KuCoin would be the next two. So yeah, so this particular pattern right here, if you're looking at getting in a coin because it's cheap, that's okay. I don't mind that, but you want to have an expectation of a profit, okay? You don't want to hold this coin for 3 and 4 months. This can continue lower. I mean, look, zero's all the way down here, right? It's not, zero's way down here. There's a long way for coins to fall, especially when they're falling. When coins are falling, you don't buy coins, okay? That's not a good rule of thumb. You want to buy coins when they're flattening out, moving into an upswing. So this is not a good place to be buying this, in my opinion. Now, if you really, really wanted to take a trade, this isn't actually one of the worst areas. Again, I'm not advising you buy this, but if you are going to buy this, you have a natural stop at the bottom of this low here. Okay, you do have a very natural stop right here. So if you're going to buy this, no matter what I say, that's a 3.87% stop loss to the bottom of this spike low recently, according to the Bitcoin chart. So 4% loss for a potential, nice gain. I'm not mad at that trade. If it does bounce, though, keep in mind, specific moving averages that it's been living under. There's different strategies you can take to do things to basically avoid everything. Okay, I've been caught a falling knife this morning. Ether at 585, stop at 567. Well, Meek Soup, at least you know what you're getting yourself into. You caught a falling knife and you have a stop. So that's a pretty good thing that you have a stop. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Yeah, don't catch falling knives, ladies and gentlemen. Really, when you do that, all you're doing is you're getting into a trade to take a loss. You're basically getting into a trade to take a loss. But it looks like you did exactly what I talked about. So this prior low is 571. You did 567. Okay, I see what you're doing there. So you're playing for a possible bounce here with a tight stop. Okay, I'm not super mad at that trade. As long as you know what you're getting yourself into here. Remember when I got into CND at 931? I have a question. Did you ask that again, or is that the first time? Okay, yeah. Got in CND at 931. Let's take a look. Actually, let's go back to my altcoin chart. Got in CND at 931. I'm on the 1 minute. No wonder it's so. Let's go back to the 15 minutes, because I think you asked that yesterday. Yeah, so CND here at 931. Yep, there's my trend line. Like I said, that's your ideal entry point. You got in a little bit higher, which is fine. 931. You took profit at 950, you said. On the breakdown here at 950, I'm assuming. Yeah, so there's a couple things when you're inside a trade about profit taking. If you're at the start of a trend like you kind of are here with CND, you're still, your entry was fairly early in the run up, which is good, right? Like you had this pop, it came down, it started basing, going back up. That's really good. Your entry wasn't that bad. I don't recall if you had a stop loss or not, but you probably could, like I said, your stop loss probably would have been down in this area, about the 870-ish level. Now, it continued higher. You have to give it room to run, and there's a couple of ways you can try to do that. A couple of ways you can try to make this run. Number one, as you can see here, it's pretty. I have this 50-period moving average on my chart on this 15-minute, and it's actually kind of obeying this. Now, if you notice, even down here, it came in, it reversed right at this 50-period moving average, okay? So you could have stayed in this trade going up, right? You could have stayed in this trade, and then it started spiking up, and this really big high volume candle was really your sell signal. This was your sell signal. This is kind of your reversal signal. While it did go up a little bit more, notice it rolled right over. So you had a way to stay in the trade and a way to exit this particular trade. And like anywhere up here would have been a really good exit for this trade. If we back out on CND, let's see what we can find out here. So yeah, much the same on the, pretty much the exact same sentiment on the 2-hour as on the 15-minute. Not much changes that picture getting out for the long term, but it did break this 200 period moving average on the 2-hour, which could be turning it bullish. Notice it just turned around on that. So there's a possibility there's a little bit more to this trade than meets the eye. But we don't have any reversal candles yet, so far. But there you go. There's a little bit of a way is to, you can use moving averages to kind of find support. And as you can see here, this 50-period moving average really provided support. I know it takes a lot of guts to hold especially, your entry was what, 931. Yeah, so you really weren't that far underwater. You really weren't that far underwater. You could have given it a little more room to the downside. I know when coins reverse on you, it gets pretty scary because you never quite know if they're going to continue going, and I get that. But you have to give it a little more room to the downside, basically just to let it breathe. All right, what do you think about 88? It broke 2K sats, but volume looks like it's increasing in Binance. So increasing volume to the downside is not a good thing. Okay, that is not a good thing. You're completely misreading the volume if you're interpreting this as positive. So I've been giving advice on 88 for quite some time now, and for quite some time, really since we broke this level and had this big spike down and this retest, I've been saying just to avoid 88 at all costs. Ladies and gentlemen, when coins move and coins run and you start to learn something about them and you start to think you know them and start to think you understand them, you can start to think that they're going to be good forever. Now, while it may be good technology, its price action is not good. Okay? What you want to do in trading is you want to combine good coins with good price action. Good price action. This is not good price action. Avoid. This is a straight up avoid, ladies and gentlemen. Cree, a question for your website. There's a problem with the login. I signed up and I'm not able to log in. So I have, if you signed up using, let me get to my home page here. If you sign up using this link for the free chat room, this is actually not signing up into the website. Maybe that was a bit misleading. That wasn't my intention actually. This is literally just signing up for the chat room. This isn't signing up for the website itself. So this doesn't get you into anything except for the Slack chat room, which you should have been sent a link for. This doesn't get you a login to the website though. There's really no way. The only way to get a login to the website is actually to sign up for the Real Crypto Power Hour, and that's only valid for the Real Crypto Power Hour. Right now the trading courses are not actually live yet. Maybe I'll just get rid of this link. There's been some confusion there, and I apologize about that. I'm developing the website myself. It's taking longer than I've anticipated, and I understand that can create confusion, and that's all on my shoulders, and I'm sorry about that. All right, guys, we're looking for very specific. If you guys want me to look at a chart, we're looking for very specific questions in the Power Hour. All right, so tell me what you're looking at. If you're looking to go long, on what time frame of the chart you're looking at, why you're looking to go long. All right, the Power Hour is really about getting specific and diving down into trading and how to do it properly. So I'm going to avoid a few questions that just say, like, can you look at this QSP chart? Theo, feel free to re-ask that with a couple more, I guess, variables, if you will, to this pattern that is trading. So here's a strategy question that Nikko's asking. Hold some Ripple and at a loss in dollars, but still 100% up in BTC. Plan to convert the dollar to dollars over the next bull run. Would you recommend selling anyways and invest in a coin that is expected to go up in dollars anytime soon? Interesting question, Nikko. I need to wrap my head around that. So you're holding some Ripple. It's a loss in dollars, but you're up 100% versus BTC. Probably because Ripple is a little more stable than BTC lately, I think. And I don't know where your entry point is. If your entry point's really low in Ripple, which is probably not since you're at a loss. Yeah, if you can give me your entry points, I can probably come up with a more concrete answer for you there, Nikko. All right, what's the next entry for a short position? I'm thinking to short if we break under 7.6K, or if we bounce back, I'm looking for a short trade at the 8.2 level. So here's the thing when shorting, and this is the thing that not too many people are going to tell you because there's not a lot of great courses out there on trading short. You never want to trade short at a breakout point, or if you do, you need to have a very, very clear breaking point. Let me give you an example. Okay, so a break here at 7.6. I see what you're going with this low. That's not always the best strategy. Let's take a look at the low in this flag right here. Let's go to the 2-hour chart. Let me tell you why that's not a good strategy. So that's not a good strategy because, as you can see, when we broke, yes, it did continue lower. If you have an expectation of a quick profit take, that may work out perfectly fine. Your best short, however, is the break of the trend. All right, is the break of the trend. And you can see it time and time again here with every kind of level that's breached. That's a little small. With each of these little trend lines that's breached, you find good short entries. Okay, so there's a trend line, there's a trend line, there's a trend line. By waiting until the bottom, by waiting all the way until the bottom, you're basically, number one, giving away profits, and you're number two, you have a higher expectation of the move being run into, like this move here. Or if you notice your entry was here, you were cut all the way into if you were trying to hold this for a longer run. So it depends on your profit expectations. If you're going to short down here, you better have a very short-term profit-taking strategy. Otherwise, that's going to lead to probably some fairly quick losses. Shorting is a different art than buying is, and it shouldn't be done lightly, and it should be done with a small amount of your account. Jay's saying, donate to this poor guy. Free great advice. Wow. Thank you, Jay. I'd rather you sign up for the Power Hour than just donate, because I like fostering trading. I like doing this education, and this Power Hour is going to end tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be the last free Power Hour. The rest of it is going to be pretty much a paid service through my site, and we are going to get very specific. That's the whole point to the Power Hour, ladies and gentlemen, is to help you guys get through this. And these tidbits I'm throwing out, guys, they're just tidbits. Trading is a deep, wide ocean of knowledge that can't be garnered in a week. So Juan, a follow-up question from you. What I got for the best way to exit, I give it breathing room in reference to the moving averages and then exit when it spikes with high volume, right? So yeah, in your particular trade, that would have worked quite fine. Every situation's different. There's different ways to stay in a trade. There's different ways to get out of a trade. And your job is to kind of read the overall picture. The next trade may not go that same way, all right? The next trade may not go that same way. That same moving average, it may not recognize that moving average. So there's different strategies to do that. There's just not one. In that particular trade, those were a couple of clear signs in hindsight. But in real moment, like in live trading, it's hard to say, hey, this 50 days is going to hold or this spike peak is going to sell. But those are actually two pretty clear signals from that particular chart. So, but that was just that one example. Look at RCN. It's been putting a nice base over the past couple of weeks. Weeks, huh? Week-long bases. I like it. I like bases that last weeks. You said weeks. So here, this base, this is not a base. You're misinterpreting what a base is at this particular. Yeah, you're completely misinterpreting what a base is. Now there is a lot of volume here. Don't get me wrong, but the price is moving in the wrong direction. Actually, right now it looks like it's falling down a little bit. So this could be considered a base, but it falling here really does not give me happy feelings. And it just looks like we still have a series of lower highs in place, and looks like we're probably going to make another lower low at some point. This thing looks like it's just going to break down. But this is really not a base. If you want to see what a base is, this is a base. Okay, this is a base. A base comes off of an upward movement and then it bases out. This is not a base. Okay, this is not a base. This is a bottom. This is a bottom area. Bottom area, bottom formation, bottom whatever descriptive word you want to use. This is a bottom. This is a base. A base is a potential move for a run to the upside with a prior uptrend. You can't have a base this is a base for a downward movement that failed, but it's not really a base. That's a bit of a misnomer in terms there. Does my trading for a living course talk about taxes a bit? Yeah, it does. And I mean, trading for a living isn't what everyone thinks it is. I mean, but yeah, I do talk about taxes in that course. You're basically self-employed, and there's different things to take into consideration. You have to have good records, but overall, you can trade with an LLC. You can do that, which kind of doesn't really give you protection, but it treats your trading more of a legitimate business. Sometimes the IRS actually doesn't consider you trading for a living unless you have an LLC. So, you want to consult an accountant about the specifics of that exactly. But when you're trading for a living, look, you're basically 1099ing yourself. So you're going to pay the full 15%, Medicare. If you can't make over 25% what you're making at your current job, trading for a living, may not be for you. And I do talk about all that stuff in that course. Can I make stock market videos? Crypto is completely out and boring. Actually, Greg, I do have a real stocks channel that I recently started. I only have 2 videos out on it right now. Let me see if I have. Yeah, look in the description of this video. There's a link to my real stocks channel. You can feel free to check that out and sign up for that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you guys like trading, you guys are going to love the stock market. You guys are absolutely going to love the stock market. The stock market is fantastic. Okay, the stock market's fantastic. While, most people don't think it's as sexy as crypto, to be quite frank with you, I think it's a little bit sexier than crypto in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, it's a little bit nicer than crypto. You have lower fees. You're able to sleep. You can get almost as much gain as you can in crypto. And, while you can't necessarily hold with a complete expectation of, having a profit in 3 to 6 months to a year, just from a trading perspective, it's much cleaner. It's much cleaner. Let me see here, drop down a little bit. Sorry guys, looking at my other screen. Bitcoin looks like it may want to move up here a little bit. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. There we go. So Bitcoin forming a little bear pennant here. And if you notice, guys, this is just bear pattern after bear pattern after bear pattern. It may get these spikes to the upside and such, but it doesn't really get that far before it's just breaking down. Lots of red volume here. Just tons of red volume. Okay. Neo, best entry for long term. Raphael, that's not really a great question, my friend. If you're asking right now for a long term, if you're looking for a long term, the day and the price doesn't matter if you're looking for long term. And I would not recommend buying anything with this type of a price action. Guys, we were just looking at what we were just looking at. The last one we were looking at, which I don't think I can. Is it RCN? Man, I wish I really could teach you guys how to read charts. You never know when a coin's going to go up or down, that's true. But you know the trend of the coin, okay? If the trend of the coin is down, no, don't buy it. Watch it. I'm still waiting for the bear market to end. Do you think it's still on track for May, says Alan. It's possible. Nothing's really, nothing's counter to that. And I've only been saying that for really a couple of weeks since I've done that analysis, and nothing's changed in that term. So of course that analysis is still going to be the same. Nothing's changed. Just because you guys are watching the market 24/7, pretty much like I am, although I took yesterday off, doesn't mean things change as quickly as you want them to, okay? The world still moves 24 hours at a time, 365 days at a time. Went long on BTC 84.95. Should I cut my loss, or is still some upside? 84.50. I do not think there's upside in Bitcoin. So I would just personally, I would cut. If you want to wait till this bounces over, whenever that may happen, because it's looking pretty weak to me. I would like more volume for a bigger sell-off, but I don't think you're getting a lot higher. I mean, we're going high right here, but I don't know how far we're going to cut into this prior base. I'm not quite sure about that. Trying to buy ADA for the long term. Any strategy where I can allocate portion of my fiat, every fiat, looking at 1 year plus. Any strategies? Yeah. There can be some buying strategies to ADA. The first would be not to buy it while it's dropping like a rock. That would be the first thing. Actually, I'm in the wrong chart here. So if you have a long-term strategy, ladies and gentlemen, I know I just said a little bit ago, if you have a long-term strategy, price doesn't matter. I kind of say that sarcastically, to be honest with you, because if you guys like, buying assets that are falling in value, you should just go buy a new car and then sell it instantly on Craigslist. You're going to get the same return buying something like this. You're going to get an instant, 10 to 20 to 30% loss. You don't buy things that are tanking like a rock because, guess what? Looking at this chart, hey, ADA is cheap down here. Look, it's coming up to this, it's coming up to this prior base level here at this 3,000 Satoshi level. Why don't you go ahead and buy that? Oh, okay, now that's been cut down by 33%. So from a long-term strategy to buy ADA would be when it stops dropping like a rock and starts going sideways for a considerable amount of time. You can start to layer into your position at that point in time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome for joining me in the, or thank you for joining me in the Real Crypto Hour of Power, or Power Hour. I call it the Power Hour, but then I came up with this. I kind of like this. It's a little more fun. What we want to do here is talk about effective strategies. I was a little hard on that gentleman. I'm sorry, but I don't believe in buying things dropping like a stone. I feel very confident in that analysis, and if you're going to be involved in crypto, I think you should be too. I do want to talk about strategies definitively. I would like to really deep dive with you guys on how to do that strategy effectively. Okay, and the Power Hour is 1 hour a day basically 30 days a month. If I need to have a, if I need to take a session or two off, I will let you guys know. But Saturday, Sundays included, you guys are getting 30 hours of basically mentorship with Real Crypto to develop these strategies, to have good, sound strategies for developing these types of things. And I know it's one thing to try to troll the internet and put everything together yourself and try to piece this here and piece that there and not pay anything for it. And I get that. I understand that. But if you want a shorter learning curve, if you want to stop losing money in the markets and start making money quicker in the markets, you're gonna have to get some kind of a system together with someone that has knowledge. Do I recommend setting stop loss orders at market price or limit price? Good question, Jason. I think that number one could be determined by your size. If you have small size, just do market orders, because if you have a stop loss, the point of the stop loss is just to get out. If a trade's going against you, you just want to get out. The thing with a stop loss order, let's take a look at this ADA since I've got it up here, right? The stock that's just volume accelerating to the downside. Let's say you went long somewhere over here and you have a stop loss kind of right here at this 50 period moving average. If you put in a limit order, and you're 12th in line for that particular strike price, and only 5 of that limit order are filled before it jumps you, you're not going to get filled. In other words, you're still going to be involved. You're still going to be involved in the coin. Just because you put a limit order in doesn't mean it has to be filled, okay? If you put in a market order, it's going to get filled. The only downside is that the price can go against you. And that's why I say if you have a large account size, you may want to use some limit orders, but you're going to want to stagger them, okay? You're going to want to stagger those limit orders to try to actually make sure you get out. But generally, a market order will get you out and should legitimately get you out, where a limit order may actually keep you in the coin. So, Robert, you say every pay. I mean, I think you mean every payday. If you want to buy into ADA every payday, make yourself an ADA fund, save that money, and then when ADA stops dropping like a stone, then you can put all that money and load up at that particular point. I'd like to see demonstration on BitMEX. Looks pretty interesting. I may do that, Alan. I'm not going to do that on a live public stream, though, to be quite frank with you. I don't want people to see this in the future and start trading and potentially lose money. So Mojo has a pretty decent question. I have some funds I use for day trading. Is it advisable to attempt to do micro trades at 1% and 2% loss targets, or would it be better to just sit out while things take a less choppy path? So if you're trading for the long side, so here you go. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this recent Bitcoin action. So we recently broke down to this bear flag, the 14th, so 3 days ago. So since 3 days have passed, you've basically had what I would consider 2 good long trades, this trade and this trade. Unfortunately, they were like 1-bar events, right? They're like, you're not getting continuation. That's the thing with the bear markets. You're not really getting that continuation. I guess you could consider this continuation, but you literally have to wait like an entire day for that one pump, right? Generally, in a bear market, you do not take long trades. You want to sit, you want to hold tight, because these markets can turn against you at any moment in time. If you look at all of these moves, like this is a little more of a gradual sell-off, but if you look over here, and even in this base, there's a lot of huge pumps in both directions that happen extremely quickly with wide, choppy periods. This is why it's definitely advisable to be in cash during most of these markets if you're not going to be doing shorting. And that's also why this is a great time to learn. Because if you're sitting in cash, if you don't have an expectation to take long trades, you need to start getting prepared for the next bull cycle, which will come. We are going to come up to a bull cycle at some point in time, and your job is to be ready for that. So James said, sold Bitcoin at 9,700, waiting for the bottom. Is Bitcoin flag going on now? What is resistance we need to break to go lower? Well, we've been breaking resistance going lower, and I'm not anticipating that changing anytime soon. It's going to be level after level after level. It's going to be a slow meltdown. I've actually been talking about this for a long time. I can't point you to a specific video off the exact top of my head, but been several videos when I talk about, are you prepared for a 2013 type market with a slow meltdown that just bores you to death? That just bores you to death. And that's the market we're in. It's pretty much just boring you to death right now. We had kind of a decent downtrend during the top side here, this flagpole and the bear flag. But since then, we tried a little rally, nothing's happened. We failed at resistance, and we formed another bear flag. We're going to go a little lower. Maybe we form another bear flag. Maybe we have a big jaunt to the downside, then a bear flag, then a little pop to the upside. Then we go. I mean, it's going to be monotonous. It's going to be pretty monotonous. It's going to be monotonous and very boring. These markets bore you to death. All right, so Nikko put in some more. All right, Cree, I'll go ahead, or Tree, I think. I'll go ahead and look at that. Thank you for sending me the email. I'll look into that today for sure. Yeah, for those of you that have signed up, don't worry, you are going to be able to partake on Monday. But yeah, I'll definitely get that worked out. There's going to be a page in there that members have access to that do have all the recorded sessions, and going to have a link to the live sessions and things of that nature. So yeah, that'll all definitely be working. So I bought XRP at 37.76 sats. Okay, yeah, so you do have a nice profit in Ripple. Okay, so that makes sense. Hold on, just got a text message. Let's see here. Okay, sorry guys, I got a text message. I had to reply to that. Bought XRP at 37.76 sats, but looking to pull out money of my initial investment in crypto, continue playing with profits. Yeah, that's fine if you want to do that, if you want to pull out your initial investment. I'm not mad at that at all. Yeah, it looks like Ripple may... This is a big rounded top. Yeah. Oh, I don't have rounded tops and bottoms in my trading course. Hold on, I need to take a note. How do I not have that? I don't have tops and bottoms there. Interesting. Okay, but yeah, so I would not mind you selling Ripple. Playing with your profits if you wanted to, but just understand they may evaporate away. Unless you really have. So your buy on Ripple was actually really good. Actually, is a very, very good buy on Ripple. So that was excellent. Great job on that. Profit taking leaves a little bit to be desired. You don't want to let this much of it evaporate. Okay, you want to be fairly aggressive with your profit taking. But getting in here would eliminate future losses, or I should say erosion of that profit. But if you're going to play with it anyways, then. So probably what I would do, to be frank with you, I don't know how much profit you have, but maybe you take half your profit too, just so you walk away with something, okay? You walk away with something rather than nothing. And unless there's some tax implication, in which case you may want to keep profits in here. That could be a possibility. Maybe if you have an expectation of high taxes this year, you could do something like that. But I would take something off the table. Looks like I'm not keeping up with comments today. I'm going to jump down towards the bottom, ladies and gentlemen. If I missed your question, please feel free to go ahead and re-ask it. Put as many specifics in there as you can so I can give you a decent answer. If technical analysis are saying Bitcoin could take a year-long bear market, would John McAfee eat his own D by 2020? I think you should eat it now. Just get it over with. What do I think about Salt? I think it's an interesting platform. I think they're going to be losing their butt, though, if they're taking Bitcoin as collateral. I mean, come on, Bitcoin's been cut in half, and they're taking Bitcoin solely as collateral. So, what do I mean Bitcoin will die? Did I say Bitcoin will die? I don't think I've ever used that term. I think Bitcoin's going lower. It's not going to die. It's going to be around. Oh, thank you, Andrew. Thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you in the Power Hour. Ravi recently bought Market Cycles course. It's extremely helpful. Glad you enjoyed that, Ravi. What was your main takeaway? May I ask you, what's your main takeaway from the Market Cycles course? Like the number one thing that you would say that you know, like one major benefit. Okay, so Khan here says, I kind of disagree. I'm in cash, so watching the market go down is just as joyful. The way I see it, last chance to get in cheap, coming up soon, 1 to 2 months. Oh, you've said Bitcoin's dead before. Yeah, dead in terms of the rally, dead in terms of the the overall like we're not going up. It's done. Like it's done. So, Bitcoin's really alive over here, really happy, joyful, happy, jovial. Things are happening. But on this chart, Bitcoin's dead, kind of dead. It's dead money. I guess that's a better way to put it. You know what? I'm going to use that from now on. It's a term that I haven't heard in a while. Dead money. Being long Bitcoin is kind of dead money right now, right? It's not going to do much for you. So Ravi says, understood choppy markets versus uptrending markets. That's important. Completely out of cryptos now with 50K cash sitting aside. Do you have a service which you can help me get in at a good spot? I'm 2 to 3 year long, but want to get back in at lower levels. Yeah, thanks, Ravi. I've thought about starting a service for like bottom picking like that. I've also, to be quite honest with you, thought about starting a service a little bit cheaper. Something like, $30-35 a month, where you guys get like, charts written up by me and, things of that nature. The newsletter will go out, things like that. So yeah, I don't know exactly. I haven't actually done a service like just picking the bottom, if you will, like not a service just for that. I think enough people probably won't believe me. That's kind of how these things work, and that's what I've noticed with my channel. I got a lot of, it's really funny, when we were down here, I actually lost overall subscribers, which is very rare for me. I tend to gain fairly regularly, and a lot of people down here I think there's a lot of bullishness, or there was bullishness in Bitcoin, and my views dropped by like a half to 2/3, and my subscribers actually declined, which, like I said, is really rare. And then when we dropped from the bear flag, people are like, oh crap, this guy is for real. This guy does kind of know what he's talking about. And then my subscribers jumped, and my viewership went back up. So I think it's something we're trying to convince people for a service that they don't even know they don't even know that they need is really difficult. Thank you, Robbie. I appreciate that. Sid says, what is your guess when the bull will return and why? Well, let me tell you why. The bull will return when the last fake hodler has sold. Okay, there's some hodlers that are for real and will hold no matter what. There's a gentleman that's usually in here during the week, MC Energy, I think his name is, or something like that. He sounds to me like a true hodler, like he's going to hold no matter what. But a lot of people that think they're hodlers actually are not. And those individuals will all sell. So let me show you an example of fake hodling. And actually, hodling wasn't even a thing back in 2013, but I'm going to go back to 2013. So I'm holding BTC. Should I sell or keep holding? I think you should sell if you don't want to have further losses. Okay? I think in time, Bitcoin will reach this price level again. I don't know exactly how long that's going to take, but I do believe that will happen in time. Now, if you don't have that kind of patience, then I recommend selling. If you're going to panic sell when we get down like I'm talking about here. So he talked about when's Bitcoin going to bottom. This is the capitulation move in 2013. All this volume was people that bought up towards the 1,000 level finally getting out and panic selling. They had 2 days down in a row which went down over 40% in those 2 days. That is panic selling. So that's when you can go back to I have a video, one of my more popular ones called When is Bitcoin Gonna Bottom? I Actually Know Really. And it talks about this type of panic capitulation selling. So Juan had a specific question about Nebel up there, and I skipped it. Yeah, you know, Juan, sorry, the chat goes pretty quick, and the answers tend to be fairly long. So I'm not attempting to skip anyone, but if you guys can re-ask those questions, keep in mind I'm just one presenter with 172 people here. I'm noticing some coins have an increase of volume lately, like INS and specifically Nebel on Binance, with bids and asks of orders of 1K. However, the price is not moving much. Why? Because no one's actually buying and selling. They have to buy and sell, and they could be doing so in large blocks, right? Like that, they could be buying and selling in large blocks. I don't really have time to do a deep dive on that. That's like a phenomenon rather than it's just a technical analysis question. So, sorry, I can't be very specific with that, but I don't want to just clog up with that particular question. So Ali says, I sold 100% of my BTC 7 hours ago at 8,300. Decent sell. I'm looking to buy BTC once again once it bottoms. See, everyone wants to get in Bitcoin when it bottoms. Everybody wants to get in Bitcoin when it bottoms, but if you don't have the tools or understand how to know when it bottoms, I can't give you a price level because I've given you my target area, which is 36 to 2,400. That's my target area of an approximate area where it could bottom. But guys, if I knew that, like if I literally knew that, would I even have to sit here talking to you guys about this? Shouldn't I just wait on my butt, mortgage my house, and then go buy Bitcoin at $2,400 if I knew that for a fact? Technical analysis doesn't give you the future. What technical analysis does is it gives you a market direction, okay? It gives you the market direction based on the buying and selling of the whole market as a whole. Do I have experience with the CCI indicator? I have not. I do not have experience with the CCI. I've seen it used a couple of times. I think I've looked at it, but a long, long time ago. And there's a lot of indicators, but no, I don't have a lot of experience with it. When do you think mining profitability crossover will have anything to do with the bottom around 3,500? No, I don't necessarily think that mining being profitable has anything to do with the actual price of Bitcoin, because miners don't miners produce Bitcoins. They don't buy Bitcoins, right? Miners don't buy the Bitcoins. So if you're mining like if right now, if you are mining Bitcoin at your house, if you're mining Bitcoin, can you affect the price whatsoever? No. The only thing you can do is sell your Bitcoin. Okay, that's the only thing you can do. AJ mentions, I mentioned May 26th. Do I see it going down further from that date, or bear moves to bullish? Um, that's just a date that the charts point to, my friend. The market will lead us in a direction at that point in time. It's kind of like reading a map, right? You're reading a map and you're going to get to the next intersection. Do you go right or left? Well, hey, I don't know. I'm looking for Dunkin' Donuts it's Scottsdale and Bell, right? Or Frank Lloyd Wright and Scottsdale. I'm looking for Dunkin' Donuts at Frank Lloyd Wright and Scottsdale. Someone tells you it's at Frank Lloyd Wright and Scottsdale. They say, and you say, where is it? Like, I don't know. You go, okay, well, when I get there, I'm just going to take a look and see where it is. That's a pretty viable strategy. If you can get within, one block of the Dunkin' Donuts, you're really likely to find it. But if I tell you there's a Dunkin' Donuts over in Scottsdale somewhere, you're a lot less likely to find it. So just by having that area, you're much more well informed. Um, Beyond Thought Media says, any thoughts on Hashgraph Hedra? It's being released on the Goldilocks zone. I don't know what a Goldilocks zone. What does that mean? Isn't that like your 50 to 61.75 in a fib? So they're releasing it on a Fibonacci ratio? I'm a little confused by that. Ravi says, I think being in the power hour session will help us spot when the bear market is ended and bull run resumed. Yeah, you're definitely going to get, we're going to get really good analysis in the power hour. We can talk about, ultra specific. So, yeah, I think for sure that could be something that will, yeah. I don't see why I wouldn't be talking about the end of the bear market during the power hour. There's, yeah, I'll talk about it. So Winston says, meaning, will miners start to push prices up when they are no longer profitable? How will they do that, Winston? Oh, okay. Thanks so much, Sense. Okay. Sorry, Winston. Didn't see your response down below here. It must have been an older comment. Maybe crypto is a leading indicator of the world economy. No, it is not. In no way, shape, or form is crypto an indicator of the world economy. How would you compare the bear market after the dot-com bubble with the current bear market in crypto? I haven't done a one-to-one analysis. But I've seen other people post some charts, and it's rhyming a little bit. We had the bounce, then kind of the layoff. You see that quite often in market bottoms, is you see a big rundown, a big bounce, and a big trough. Actually, in my Market Cycles webinar, I do go over many market cycles, parabolic runs, and subsequent bear markets thereafter, and in most of those, you can see fairly similar patterns. You know what? Let me actually pull up those slides. Let me do that. I've done this before, and I kind of liked it. Market cycles. Here we go. So this isn't the whole Market Cycles webinar, guys. I'm just going to show you the charts that I put in the Market Cycles webinar, because market cycles aren't specific to Bitcoin. It doesn't matter if it's cotton, soy, futures, Bitcoin, Beanie Babies. It doesn't really matter what it is. Markets kind of cycle. Here we go. So here's the 2001 tech bubble, actually. So this is a daily chart. So you had the big run up, then the bounce, or the drop, the bounce, then the further subsequent sell off, right? So this kind of lines up a little bit with Bitcoin if you think about it. Although I think I'll keep it on the 2 hour. There's just not enough bars. So, right, you kind of have something like that. I mean, they go pretty well together, I think. They they kind of rhyme. Whoops, yeah, that's fine. So I think they kind of rhyme a little bit. So yeah, the 2001 tech bubble, if you see that chart. Now, I don't, if this is the first leg and this is 6,000, this is the bounce, this isn't going to go exactly. We're not going to go super lower. I think the Bitcoin chart in 2013, which I also have in here, which is right there. Here's, so I have the 2007 financial crisis, where you have a couple legs down. There's a 2001, there's a 2007 financial crisis, lower highs, things of that nature. And then here's kind of your last bastion of resistance. And then once that level was broken, jaboom, just freaking died. And keep in mind, Bear Stearns went out over here. I remember that. I remember that weekend. I remember that weekend like it was yesterday. And I'm like, man, I wish I could short the markets right now. All right, Bitcoin part 1, which actually I've done some analysis on 2013 Bitcoin part 1 and 2013 Bitcoin part 2 and how they relate to the current day Bitcoin bear market, and it's quite eye-popping. I haven't produced anything on that analysis though. 1990 Japan, this was just a brief sell-off. So, but all these have prior uptrends, and notice I show the uptrend and the downtrend. I'm really not trying to focus on the downtrend, but this is the end result of this type of a massive uptrend, is these bear markets. This is oil. I remember oil too. That was crazy. Okay, Euro USD, and then current NASDAQ chart, when will it end? This is kind of current market action. We've actually since come down a little bit and bounced up. And then this one, this is a pretty cool chart. 120-year history of the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So anyway, it's part of my Market Cycles webinar. Really cool stuff. So does it kind of rhyme with the tech bubble? Yeah, it does. Is there still a market for Beanie Babies? Yeah, there is actually. If you watched John Oliver's special, or John Oliver's show about cryptocurrencies, he actually talked about a $15,000 Beanie Baby that he bought for $10,000 because he's not an idiot. Go to YouTube when the power hour is done here in a little bit and go watch that John Oliver video. Pretty awesome. Pretty funny. Pretty funny. Can you technical analysis on ICX? Of course you can. You can technical analysis on anything. I'm assuming you meant you wanted me to do some technical analysis on ICX. That was my smart-ass answer to that. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, specific questions. Specific questions. All right, so technical analysis. Here's your technical analysis. Whenever it breaks this trend line, it will not look like complete garbage. That's pretty much technical analysis on ICX right now, in a nutshell. In a nutshell. Robbie, thank you, sir. Enjoyed seeing you in there. I think you're going to be a good student. No, he didn't buy it for real. It was a joke. If you know anything about John Oliver, everything he says is a joke. So CryptoCon, it rhymes with tech bubble. How many times will it repeat this cycle before it blows? That's a great question. I've been asking myself that question. I've really been asking myself that question. How many times can cryptocurrencies go through a parabolic move? It's an extraordinarily valid question, to be quite frank with you. Probably one of the more poignant questions in cryptocurrencies. Because if you think of the crypto markets, I'm going to talk about something really cool, and not enough people are watching me, and that kind of sucks. If you really think about the cryptocurrency markets, they're not mature markets. Okay, they're just generally not mature markets, and these parabolic runs are a function of that fact that they're not very mature markets. Okay, in the stock market, you have I showed that slide of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the 100-year history of it. That history is based by the fact that people have to own stocks, okay, for investing, for leverage reasons, for borrowing reasons. There's lots of reasons in the financial system that you have to buy stocks. So there's an expectation that things are going to go up. It's not so in crypto. It's pure psychology. It's pure human psychology. There's really the only coin you need to own is Ethereum. Like, I don't even think you need to own Neo's coin. I don't necessarily, that's probably not correct actually, but the only thing you really need to own is Ethereum so you can use the Ethereum blockchain. Outside of that, most other coins either don't have any usage of their network, no real usage, and if you were to do some analysis based on that usage, you would see they're extraordinarily overvalued. So I don't know how many times we can do this parabolic run. Eventually, everyone that even wants to participate will actually be in the markets, and then we won't have any leverage to go higher. So at some point, the bubble of bubbles, the market of having these huge parabolic runs will burst, and I'm not exactly sure when that's going to take place. I mean, obviously, that's such a big question that needs a lot more research. The power hour is $50 a month, Ali Riza. It's $50 a month. We will be doing an hour every single day. So Bill asks, a friend is looking to invest in crypto blockchain stuff. Can you give a yay, nay of minor investment groups? Actually, I'm sorry, I cannot. I don't really do mining. I'm a trader at heart, so I pretty much trade the markets. I really don't do much mining. So I'm sorry, I don't have a good recommendation for you. I have noticed more ICOs on Stellar. Do you think it is better to keep Stellar or sell of a part of them to buy the ICOs on this platform? What would be smart investing? That's a good question. I think you invest in the blockchain and not the ICOs yet. Now, if you want to have a small portion of your portfolio dedicated to those ICOs, that's perfectly fine. But I would keep a majority of it in the overall blockchain, because this is what happens. Stellar's going to have 1,000 ICOs written on it, okay? Stellar's going to have a lot of ICOs written on it. How many of those are actually going to be successful in the long term? Very, very few, okay? Very few are going to be successful in the long term. So I really don't think you invest in the ICOs. And if you do, keep a very small amount to it. So S mentions, can we pay for the power hour through Google, YouTube? Many of us have gift cards, but not credit cards. What do you mean gift cards? So go ahead and shoot me an email if you guys have a problem with the payment system for the power hour. You don't have to have a PayPal account. They are the payment processor. There actually is a link in the bottom where you can pay with a traditional credit card, so you don't necessarily have to have a PayPal account. If Bitcoin hits 3.5, what will the market cap be? Good question, CryptoCon. We can do, well, we know what the Bitcoin market cap is going to be, because we have 3,500 times, let's just call it 17 million. $59 billion Bitcoin. Now keep in mind, that's probably a spike low. That's probably not like it's going to stay down there for 3 or 4 days. That's going to be a spike low. Bitcoin loves to bottom with spike lows. Google Play gift cards for people outside of the U.S. I'm not sure about that, S. Shoot me an email, randy@realcrypto.com. That's RANDY@realcrypto.com. And I'll look into that for you. I'll look into that, S. Thank you. Will I accept crypto for my courses in Power Hour? Yeah, if you want to pay with crypto, feel free to shoot me an email so we can facilitate that. Hey, thank you, Nikko. Thank you, Nikko, very much for the super chat there, my friend. Is Neo at 200 SMA a good buy, or do you see it going lower? What time frame are you looking at there, Nico? Is that a daily? Whoops. Can you buy from Africa? I believe so, Elvis. I believe so. What volume are you looking at around 2.6 or 3.5? A shit ton. That's a viable metric. That's pretty much what I'm looking at there. Just a ton of volume. All of it. I'm looking for all of the volume. Just all of it. All the volume, all of it. Why don't I see my 200 period moving average? Neobit. Oh, I'm on ICX, that's why. I didn't click the button. There we go. Okay, so I'm looking at us a 200 day. I'm assuming, Nico, you're talking about the daily. Okay, yeah, so there's the 200 day down here at like 7 cents. Oh, it's Neo BTC, so it's 0.007. Very flat 200 day. Let me get another exchange here. Are you looking at dollar or are you looking at Bitcoin? Or are they both the same? What do I think the price of Bitcoin will be at the end of 2018? If I had to guess, I would say maybe $8,000 again. Maybe, no, maybe 6,000, 6 to 9,000, something like that, maybe. But you're mentioning buying around the 200-day moving average. I wouldn't buy around the 200-day. I would buy when you start to see bullish action again. So, for example, here's the last most recent break in Bitcoin. Right? Actually, was right. You want to line up those two tops. That's a little more important than that actual spike. So, here's your area. Here's your area right here, Nico, where you would want to get in. Okay, this is the area where you want to get in. Now, you can try to buy this under the 200-day, and in time, you would think that buying under the 200-day moving average would be a good bet. And now, considering how fast cryptos move, it probably is a pretty decent bet to buy under the 200-day moving average. But, depending on market expectations, if the 200-day rolls over, which like it's about to do here, see how flat it is? It's going to start going down soon. It's going to start trending down. Now, it's not the worst thing in the world that is trending down, but you just have to keep that in mind because that's going to, it's going to slowly go down like it slowly went up here. Okay? So buying on the 200-day, I wouldn't recommend blindly buying a moving average. This is, when you're looking at buying and selling, people kind of view it, and especially with retirement investing, people view it as, okay, I'm just going to put money in all the time, and that may work over 10 or 20 years. That's not my time frame, though. My time frame for investment returns is like, months, this year. Okay, I want returns quicker than 40 years from now. I don't want to put $15,000 of my hard-earned money at work in a retirement account that's getting 7 to 8% a year. What the hell is that going to do for me? It's not going to do anything. You do the calculations on that, and you're only going to have like a couple $100,000 at retirement. You're not going